We're sitting behind Dad's desk from the EAA in the 1950s.
Wow.
This would be where he would have done a lot of the original associate editing work back in the 50s and 60s for the EAA as he helped put together the Sport Aviation magazine. So, and as always, his inbox will be a little bit messy, but he knew where it all was. Over here we got really what looks like Dad's darkroom to me. As a child in the 60s, this is where I spent a lot of my time. As Dad was contact printing some of those 34,000 negatives that the Hall of Fame and the Kelch Museum are now working with. And this is a good representation. We're in the basement of the house in West Dallas. Red light for while he's working with developing the pictures. Desk light to expose the contact print onto the paper, the photographic papers, which is all done contact style. So he'd expose a couple of pieces of paper, put them in the developer, move them in through the different baths, and when he was done with that, go out, and we would take them out to the area where he kept the dryer. And this is a good representation of that. He did his dryer prints. I think about 8 of them would fit on one side of the dryer. Put them on the dryer, squeegee them off, close it, flip it over, and on the other side he'd put another 8 prints. And then he'd go back and make some more contact prints, come out in a few minutes. These would all be dry, stacked up, and get ready to ship out to eager customers awaiting to see pictures. It was a regular weekly event for me, standing next to Dad, talking about whatever a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old came up with while he went through this process literally hundreds of times a night. And as we go down, our little display here, which is really amazing. Here's the camera where all the pictures started from, the old Kodak 616, really neat device that somehow or another from the 1940s is giving us incredible images today in the 21st century. It's just phenomenal. And the team here, once again, at the Hall of Fame and the Kelch Museum are bringing those images to life once again for people to see. It's just magnificent. The camera bag that as a kid I carried all over the airport. It had 2 cameras in it and probably anywhere from 6 to 8 rolls of film. Each roll of film would produce 8 pictures. So he'd find his subject of the day, take the Kodak camera, take 4, 6, 8 pictures, and when he was done, close it up, wind up the film, lick it, seal it, put it in the bag, pull out another roll, load it, 8 more pictures. A lot harder than it is today. Next to that, we've got Armchair Aviator, which was his passion project in the 70s. Many of the black and white photos coming out of his own collection, others would help tell the story. All black and white. And the reason he did it, it's called Armchair Aviator. He believed people wanted to read the stories about the planes, and much like the Forward and Flight magazine, they would read about the people in the planes. In modern magazines at the time, color, about instrumentation for the latest jet that nobody could afford. Dad was much more about some of the aircraft from the Second World War, vintage aircraft from the business era of the 30s, 20s, and 30s, and some of the more modern aircraft. But all black and white, all simple. The other thing that just really gets to me is Dad's logbook. He was a pilot for about, he got his license in 45, and I think last time he flew a plane was 65 or 66. Only flew about 100 hours. But some of the stories out of that are worth more articles in a magazine as well. Whether he got to sit in the right seat with Bob Hoover, an Aero Commander, or the time that he may have ground looped the airplane that wound up with him maybe not going on with flying much longer. But you can see this is just an incredible representation of what my dad did in those days. The photography, the attention to detail, and the painstaking reproduction of these images year after year.